Vortexes, welcome back to the channel, The Venus Vortex. I am Kazi. I am your tarot and astrology reader here on the channel, and I do Western Tropic Astrology with Placidus House System, applying degree theory with my readings. And today we're going to read the chart of the eclipse, which is happening today on the 8th of November. So this is happening at the 15 degree in Taurus, and we have the North Node and Uranus in Taurus conjuncting this eclipse. Now, the Uranus is actually retrograded, so it behaves like a secondary sun in Taurus, which is actually very favorable because North Node energy is normally associated with the sun, and the South Node is associated with the moon. So this is quite normal, natural energy. So having sun and the moon can be really conflictive and combative. So for masculine and feminine who are in parental roles, so if you have children at home, you're going to find that this is going to be a very difficult energy to kind of come together in. So you may not see eye to eye. The North Node, when it conjuncts Uranus, encourages us to think creatively outside the box. Now, when we have this under a lunar eclipse, which is exalted in Taurus, because the moon is exalted in Taurus, we actually have a very, very strong intuition with what we should be doing to problem solve, rather than it being the mind. It's actually following your bodily instincts, which will guide you to where you need to go. This is very much an action urge. So it's very different to what we experienced in the South Node with Scorpio. So the South Node in Scorpio, its solar eclipse was more like being caught in a rip. So you can choose to struggle or you can choose to float, but both will take you out to sea, away from the land, away from safety, security, stability, and you're going to feel like you're drowning inside. So for the last 2 weeks, if you've been feeling like that, you're very in line with this energy, but it means that you're not in alignment with yourself. This Taurus moon eclipse is trying to bring you into alignment with the self. It's really trying to get you to come into your heart, your mind, and your body and your spirit, and be honoring that through the actions that you do each day. Now, for those of you who've been struggling in the ecliptic energy, that's totally fine. Okay, it's meant to be chaotic. It is meant to be distressing. But I've got some little tips to give to you to help you through the next 2 weeks using the chart. So firstly, normally we wouldn't recommend Lilith, but she's on her own and not being interactive with any other planets except for trines. So she's actually very easy to access. And she's also very useful when we get into our dark flow state. It's a very different space. So it's when we're very, very depressed, sad, feeling vulnerable, and actually doing something artistic and channeling that sadness and continuing to get it to ruminate as we're creating, particularly through your hands. You'll feel kind of this darkness drawing out through your hands as you create it, and that's how you know that you're in your dark flow state. Very different to Venus energy. You will notice that the things that are normally hidden in your artistic creations are amplified. They stand out, and the things that normally stand out go to the background. It's a very different flow state. It's bringing up suppressed things that you normally find ugly, you'll find beautiful. And you'll kind of draw that to the top, to your awareness, your consciousness. So that's one way to do it. You'll find if you do Venus activities, you can probably be pretty emotional today because Venus is currently in Scorpio. So what Venus here wants you to do is it wants you to sacrifice. So it rules celibacy, it rules starving and dead things. It rules creepy crawlies, so spiders and snakes, those sorts of things. It really is about sacrificing. When we sacrifice right now, you're accessing that scorpionic energy. So if you want things to come to you, you're actually better off eating less food than normal because food is ruled by Venus energy. So when Venus is in debilitation, you should actually go through a starving period. Now, that just means not having anything decadent. It doesn't mean stop eating. It means that you reduce what you eat so you feel a little bit hungry. Okay, it's kind of like sacrificing to the spiritual realm to be able to gain in the future. It also helps to protect you from the things like depression, anxiety, etc. that you'll be experiencing, which will be incredibly heightened during this period. Be careful of what you watch on the news. With Neptune here at the 22nd degree, there's a lot of propaganda, and a lot of people will be expressing propagandous things that you want to hear that aren't necessarily true. Because Neptune's here, Jupiter's just joined it, it's exalted, it's heightened and expanded upon. So because of that, what you'll notice is that it's really easy for you to get caught up in what people tell you, and it's better for you to use your own discernment and take a step back. This is a very solitary energy. Again, if you're in couples, again, if you're with people, it's going to be really hard because you're meant to go inside and get realigned. So lots of meditation practices throughout this eclipse period is super beneficial. Basically, you're meant to just kind of sit in a room and meditate and not really eat much or do much, and just be alone with your thoughts and clarify. When you meditate, you will actually hear the problems that you have, and this moon is like, okay, here are your problems. What are you going to do about it? What are you going to change? Who are you going to be now? Because that's going to start setting into stone. And is this the person that you want to be? Is this the kind of life that you want to have? It's very do or die. Scorpionic energy is like that. And with having the lunar eclipse here, it's the same. Okay, having that there with the sun there as well is just amplifying that. So you'll find today quite challenging because everything's T-squared. So you've got like the stuff in Scorpio, all the south nodey stuff and all the north nodey stuff in Taurus, T-squared at Saturn. Yuck. So how do you fix a T-square? It's very easy. You can either go the middle path by going with Saturn, or you can pick one of the sides and you sacrifice two. With Venus being in Scorpio, I'd always recommend you sacrifice the two and just go with one solitary energy. So what does that mean? Okay, so you're either hyper-indulgent, you are connecting with friends and people, or you are, interested in sex and power and how to get more. That's where you're at. How do you fix that? Instead of overindulging, think of creative ways of moving through your traumas, because that's marrying the two energies. Maybe don't confront people that you're having issues with and just let it simmer. Be a little bit passive aggressive. With the Saturn energy, that's about finding your voice and being by yourself. That's being very solitary. It's sticking to your own lane, doing your own thing, finding your own groove, being who you are inside. Scorpionic energy, that is really about getting into the depths of your emotions and your feelings. Don't run from this. It's here to serve you. Nothing in this world is here to hurt you. And I know the world can feel like it's against you. But the reality is that we are acknowledging where we are weak. Because Scorpio wants you to be ready for war. Scorpio wants you to be ready for anything and any enemy at any time. And that's why it's so hard and so harsh to you. Because it wants you to be stronger. It wants you to be better. Because it sees the greatness in you and wants you to live up to that. And you can't do that if you're afraid of things. So face your fears. What kills you inside is being in your own prison that you have constructed yourself and not living the life that you want to live. That's worse than death, is being dead inside and still alive. That's what this lunar eclipse is trying to bring to the surface for you. It really wants to set you free. It wants to set you free from all the things that hold you back from being who you were meant to be. You have to dig deep. You have to face things. If it's getting too much, you can talk to friends. You can reach out to support systems. There's good energy for it, okay? You can get creative and artistic. You can take a step back, vacation a little bit. But this is a very small window in the scheme of a year where you can really, really understand who you are and who you're meant to be and where you're going and what you're meant to be doing. The universe wants to help you with this. It is going to give money challenges. It is going to give sexual challenges. It is going to give maturity challenges. Absolutely. Because you can't be your best self by being who you are right now. Because you're not your best you now. If you're not experiencing chaos, you are. you're in alignment, okay? And that's great. Keep doing what you're doing, all right? That this conversation's not for you. But if you are struggling, then it's a sign that you're in chaos, and you're in chaos because there's something internal that's not right. There's a thought process that's holding you back. There's an attitude that's holding you back. There's a habit that's holding you back. So this is a great time to quit addictions. This is a fantastic time to get rid of things that are toxic, things that hurt you. If you're not with the person that you're meant to be with, if you're not happy every day in a partnership, go your own way. If you're in a healthy relationship, you guys should be sticking to your own lanes organically, not because of obligation, because of desire. Difference. If you're in a healthy relationship, you will naturally desire to be sticking to your own lane and doing your own thing. You'll want to spend very little time with your partner, and you'll both be okay and content in it. If that's not the case, it's a really big indicator that you're not in the right relationship. And I say this so strongly because there's so much violence on the chart. And I'm saying this because some of you might be in domestic violent relationships, and you could be in a very good window to leave. This is a very good energy to leave in, where you'll actually be quite protected in doing that. So if you are experiencing any of that, this is a very good window for you to go and for you to be able to get help and support. The last couple of months in particular, not so much. Lots of fighting, lots of aggression, okay? But with that Mars going in retrograde, there is so much opportunity for you to get out right now. But if you're not with the right person, it's okay. You will be okay. Don't be fearful of change. That's Lilith talking to you in Leo. So Lilith is swapping between Lilith in Cancer and Lilith in Leo. When it does this, we have a lot of mental inconsistencies and a lot of anxiety. We don't know who we are or where we're meant to be. And that's a good thing in the sense that we can address that, but it's a bad thing in the sense that we can be easily swayed by others who are in more of an alignment. Prioritize your meditation, prioritize your friends, prioritize creative things, communication, poetry, singing. All of these things will help you through this energy. Wearing a color white or pastel green, really helpful right now. But this is a 2-week period and a great opportunity for you to grow. So go for it. Thanks for joining me, guys. Bye.